Welcome to Chapter 5 of Panto Dame Private Eye. Goblin Manor was exactly where Pogson had said it was. Exactly 50 yards from the station. Its bleak stone walls, made of Yorkshire stone, looked out at the main road through Greenfield, and had done so since 1642, according to the plaque fixed above the imposing solid oak doors. It had a single carved stone goblin's head above the door, a sentinel from a bygone age of master craftsmanship. Underneath the goblin's head was a motto in faded stone lettering, unreadable now and lost to history. Simon approached the door, raising his hand to knock. The door opened slowly inwards. Before he had made contact with it, he peered inside. There was no one on the other side of the door. Must be one of those electric gizmos, he thought, stepping over the threshold into a spacious, wood-panelled hall. Armour and axes were the main decorations in the hall, with the odd theatre flyer posted to the walls in random order. All the posters carried his uncle's name. He must have been quite a busy actor. Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, Jack the Giant Slayer, and many more, some aged and dog-eared, with a few more recent ones tacked to the wall. With a start, Simon noticed that the front door had swung shut behind him, the lock clicking into place being the only noise in the house. He turned to face the door. He hadn't even heard the motor. On the back of the door was an envelope, which Simon noticed had his name written on it in copperplate writing. This was getting a bit weird. Or had Pogson just called here first and left the instructions for him? That must be it. He was just tired after a long journey. "Good day, Master Jeeves," came a voice at his elbow. Simon turned around. There was no one there. He turned right around 3 times, but he couldn't see any sign of the speaker. It just made him a little bit dizzy. "Please take the envelope and open it, sir. All will be made clear shortly." The voice sounded friendly enough. There was no hint of fret or malice, and so Simon reached forward to take the envelope. The ink glowed briefly as he touched the envelope, as a golden ring will when it catches the sun. Simon was so surprised that he dropped the envelope to the floor. "Ouch!" There was the voice again, just behind his ear, around the side of his eye. He couldn't say which. "Please be careful, sir. The envelope is somewhat fragile. It has been waiting for you for several 100 years." "That's impossible. Not even the Royal Mail keeps an envelope waiting that long," Simon replied automatically. "Very droll, sir. Please retrieve the envelope and read the contents." "OK," said Simon, doing as he was asked. He was, by and by, fairly obedient, especially to spooky, disembodied voices in the middle of what looked like a cross between a medieval armoury and a theatre lobby. He scanned the single piece of paper contained within the envelope. "Dear Simon, I'm so terribly sorry not to have met you at the station. I do have an excuse. I'm dead, you see. Well, either that or I'm stuck behind the mirror, which is just as bad. Worse, really. Help yourself to anything in the fridge. I can recommend the sausages. I'd stay clear of the stew, though. After you've had lunch, please climb down the stairs in the pantry and follow the instructions on the back of this letter. Yours, Uncle Sefton." He turned the paper over. It was blank. After a sausage sandwich, the sausages were delicious, for his lunch, Simon sat back and thought about the contents of the note. How could he follow instructions that weren't there? How could his uncle be stuck behind a mirror? How could that possibly be worse than being dead? What was in the stew that he should avoid it? And why was it in the fridge if it was so bad? What on earth was going on? There was no simple source of answers to these questions, so Simon decided to simply follow the instructions in the letter. He found the stairway right at the back of the surprisingly large pantry and made his way down the spiral staircase. After 200 steps, Simon came to a door, which opened as he got within a couple of feet. Must be pressure pads in the floor, he thought, before glancing down and seeing solid stone steps beneath his feet. This is just weird. He stepped through the doors into an attic room. The sunlight was streaming through the shuttered window, but he had just gone 200 steps down. He turned back, and sure enough the steps upwards led away from the room. He knew that older architecture was a bit strange, but how could you go down to the attic? He gazed around. Everything up here, or down here, was covered in dust sheets. Everything that wasn't covered was covered in dust and spiders' webs. Lots of spiders' webs. Giant spiders' webs. He looked at the note again. It was just the same, a warning against the stew and a recommendation for the sausages. His fingers tingled. He turned the paper over, and there in glowing letters was, "Uncover the truth. Sefton."